Good morning, class. So before we start, let us do this first. So how are you going to say hello to know if someone is listening? So it can be done like this. Hello. How about a neighbor you don't like? So it can be done like this. Hello. So as you may notice, there's a change in the pitch or the tone of my voice while saying those. So that has something to do with our new discussion. So our topic for today is intonation. So what is an intonation? When we say intonation, it is the rise and fall of your voice when you speak. So there are three types of intonation. We have the rising intonation, falling intonation, and the rising falling intonation. So let's discuss this one by one. So rising intonation is the pitch of the voice rises or the tone of our voice rises. Usually rising intonation is used in questions, particularly those questions that are answerable by yes or no. So let's have an example. Are you hiding? Are you hiding? So as you may notice, the tone of my voice rises at the end of the question. Again, are you hiding? Can you please repeat after me? Are you hiding? Okay, very good. Now let's have another example. Is that your father? Can you please repeat after me? Is that your father? Again, is that your father? So as you may notice, the tone of my voice rises at the end of the question. So let's proceed to the falling intonation. So in the falling intonation, the pitch of the voice falls, meaning the tone of our voice falls. So usually falling intonation is used in statement. Let's have an example. I am in Bulacan. I am in Bulacan. Can you please repeat that? Very good. Now let's have another example. My teacher is Miss Grammatical. My teacher is Miss Grammatical. Can you please repeat that? My teacher is Miss Grammatical. Okay, very good. Next, we have the rising falling intonation. So the pitch of the voice rises, then falls. So rising falling intonation is also called as 2-3-1 pattern. So 2 is the normal tone, 3 is the high tone, and 1 is the low tone. So let's have an example. Captain was so angry. Let us repeat. Captain was so angry. Can you please repeat that? Okay, so Captain was so angry. So as you may notice, the tone of my voice rises then falls. So let's have another example. Where is Maguire? Where is Maguire? So as you may notice, the tone of my voice rises then falls. So another thing that can help you to use intonation properly is through stress. So what is a stress? So stress is an emphasis given to certain syllables in a word. So meaning those words that are stressed, you should pronounce it louder compared to non-stress words. So where to put stress in a word? So we can know that through learning content words and function words. So when we say content words, these are generally stress. So these are the words that we should put a stress. So what are those words? So first we have noun. So noun is the name of a person, place, things, events, or ideas. For example, name of a person, Maria, name of a thing, table, name of an event, wedding ceremony. So those are nouns. How about verbs? So verbs are action words. So for example, jump, walk, sing, dance, and so on. So you should stress all the words that are verbs except auxiliary verbs. So what are auxiliary verbs? So when we say auxiliary verbs, these are verbs that are helping verbs. For example, am, is, are, was, were, has, have, had, can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, and would. So those are auxiliary verbs. How about an adjective? So adjective describes a noun or a pronoun. So let's have an example. She is pretty. Pretty is the adjective because it describes the pronoun she. Another example. The pencil is long. Long is the adjective because it describes the noun pencil. Another example. The race car is red. So red is an adjective because it describes the word race car. Next, we have the content word adverb. So adverb describes a verb or another adverb. It tells us how much, when, where, and how often. So let's have an example. She dances gracefully. She dances gracefully. So gracefully is our adverb because it describes the verb dances. And it tells us how. If you're going to ask how she dances, the answer is gracefully. Next example. She always visits her mother. She always visits her mother. So our adverb there is the word always because it tells us how often. If we're going to ask how often does she visit her mother, the answer is always. Next, we have the demonstrative pronouns. So these are words used to point out things. For example, we have the pronoun this, T-H-I-S. Another example is this, T-H-E-S-E, that, and those. Next, another content word is interrogative pronouns. So interrogative pronouns are used to begin questions like what, when, who. So those are content words. Noun, verbs, adjective, adverbs, demonstrative pronouns, and interrogative pronouns are all content words and should be stressed. Next, function words. So function words are not stressed. So we have here articles. Example of this are a, an, and that. Next word is the preposition. Example of this are in, on, under, above, across, beside, behind. So anything that shows directions, locations, and time, that is a preposition. Next, we have personal pronouns. So personal example of personal pronouns are I, we, she, you, and so on. Next, conjunctions. These are words that are used to link words or sentences. Example, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And then another function word is an auxiliary verb. So we already give examples for auxiliary verbs. So I have here prepared a sentence. The water was the kingdom of the god Magwayan. Now let us identify which of these words, um, which of the following words should be stressed. So a stress is placed above a particular word. So let's have the word the. So since it is an article, it is a function word, so no stress. Next, water. Water is a noun. It is a content word, so you have to put a stress. Was is an auxiliary verb, and it is a function word, so you don't have to put any stress. Next, another is the word the. So that is an article, a function word, so no stress. Next, we have the kingdom. It is a noun, a content word, so we have to put a stress. Of is a preposition, so no stress. That is also an article, so no stress. God is a content word, a noun, so we have to put a stress. Next, magwayan is a noun, so it is a content word, we have to put a stress. So how are we going to read this since we already know which words are stressed? So this is how to read this one. The water was the kingdom of the god Magwayan. So as you can see, those stress words are pronounced louder compared to nice words. So that's the end of our discussion. I hope you learned something today.